And we are live. Happy Friday, everybody. And welcome to the Back Catalog Listening Party, your weekly musical happy hour. My name is Anthony Ihrig, one of your hosts. Our other host today, Ellen, a.k.a. Mother Banjo, Stanley, is celebrating her birthday today. Had special birthday plans and couldn't make it here, but I reckon she's probably going to watch the replay. So if you want to wish her a happy birthday in the comments, I'm sure she'd love to read that. But joining us today, a very special guest from Northeast Minneapolis. Won't you make welcome Mr. Jake Manders? Wow,
nice.
Big crowd here today.
Yeah, dude, that's something. Happy birthday, Alan. Hope you're living it up.
And for those of you who are new to the show, this is, like I said, it's a weekly happy hour. It's about hanging out with people, hanging out with friends, and feel free to jump in the comments, ask your questions for Jake. Let us know what you're drinking out here. It is Friday afternoon. Oh, we got Alan Hastings in South Texas pairing a nice local gin with my tonic and popcorn. Alan, nice, doing it up in Texas. Our good friend Chris is in Savage, Minnesota. It's been a week. It certainly has. He's having a Udapils Brewing beer, and maybe are you at Udapils now? Let us know. Udapils is a wonderful brewery here in Minneapolis. Our friend Connie in Richfield, hey Connie, is here, and my brother Michael Ihrig in Los Angeles, California. Hey Mike, good to see you. And Gary, great to see you as always. And Lynn. Sending a happy birthday shout out to Ellen. Thank you all for being here, and we'd love to hear from you in the comments. So chat amongst yourselves and send your questions and comments to Jake. And Jake, it is Friday afternoon. Are you imbibing in anything special today?
Yeah, I just got off work not that long ago and swung by Centers, a local grocery liquor store. Got myself a local beer. I happen to live very, very ridiculously close to this brewery, indeed. So
indeed, day tripper, perfect for afternoon sipping.
I like it.
Yeah, Northeast Minneapolis, for those of you who aren't from here, it's just a hotbed for really good beer. I'm abstaining for the moment, but I do have some icy cold homemade cold brew here. That I'm drinking today. I have a show after this, so I want to make sure I'm keeping my wits about me. But by the end of the program, I'll be talking even faster than I normally do. And our friend Joe is checking in from South Minneapolis with Uncle Jack Daniels. All right, Joe. Well, cheers, everybody. Cheers, Jake. Thanks for being here.
My pleasure. This is great.
For those of you who are in the upper Midwest here, you may know Jake from various bands and other endeavors. I first met him when he was playing with the Pistol Whip and Party Penguins, an amazing kind of amalgam of bluegrass and rock and roll, a super fun band. But there's a lot of sides to Jake. And for those of you who don't know him, Jake, would you mind just giving a brief bio of, kind of where you're from, how you got into the music things, other things you're into, and then maybe where the album we're going to listen to today kind of falls on your timeline, your musical artistic timeline.
You bet. Yeah, you mentioned. So let's see here. I grew up in Minneapolis, Brooklyn Park anyway. It's a suburb of Minneapolis. After high school, I went off to college in Mankato, and that's where I met Matt and Ryan and Chris of the Pistol Whip and Party Penguins. And we started playing. We hosted an open mic, Matt and I, up in Mankato at the What's Up Lounge for a couple of years at Mankato. And then, I don't know. Our music back then wasn't necessarily bluegrass. It was just whatever folk songs we were writing at the time. And I was really big into the grunge and the alternative rock stuff. So those are my influences, really. And then it kind of melded in with, all the other music we were playing at the time. And then we moved back to Minneapolis after I graduated college. I'm a teacher as well. I'm a high school art teacher. And so, just trying to balance all the hats and making it work as much as possible.
And you told me backstage that the art classroom that you currently teach in once had you as a student as well as a past guest. Is that right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I grew up with the Pert Near Sandstone guys.
Yeah.
We've all been really good buddies for a long time throughout high school, and now as call them musical colleagues. We're all kind of the music scene's kind of a big happy family anyway in this city anyway. I think that's a pretty awesome community in Minneapolis.
Yeah,
And,
I do. I agree, especially the acoustic community. I just think that's
oh yeah,
wild that that you're teaching now in the classroom where you and the Pertinier guys were learning art. That's
yeah.
super cool.
And this
So
room I'm in now was my classroom for a while. This is my art studio. I make art on the side, and when we did distance learning, I was working out of this room for a while. So it's kind of weird to be back at it. But
yeah,
so to answer your question about the album,
yeah.
I just wanted to touch base on that. So when the Penguins first went into the recording studio to record our first album back in like 2008, we were working with Ben Kyle, who plays in a
Oh,
band Romantica.
Romantica. Yeah.
You familiar with him?
Mm-hmm.
And man, he is just such a sweet guy, a gentleman, and he's just easy to work with. And we cut 2 albums with him, and then after that, I was like, I've got a ton of songs that never went on any pistol whipping albums. That I was like, I gotta do my own solo thing. I can't just let these songs sit in the closet forever. So I asked Ben. I said, "Hey, do you have time to record my stuff?" And he was like, "Yeah, of course. If you got the money, I got the time." And,
Right on.
and so for years after that, we worked very, very meticulous and diligently on this first solo album, and it
Right.
was a very much a long learning experience. It took years to complete, and I learned a ton from it for sure.
And this was your first attempt at doing a solo record, is that right? This is your
Yeah,
debut.
very, very first and costly experience.
The first one is really expensive. Yeah, yeah.
Well,
When you're
yeah,
paying
the
for the
second
hours.
time, third time, you kind of know a lot of ways to cut some of that cost. And for one, it's like, don't track everything. That's what I did, which is
Yeah.
it's got its benefits. But then if you go in there and with a live band and do everything live, of course you're gonna, it's gonna be a different sound, different feel for the album. But man,
Well, I look forward to kind of asking you more about like how the process that went into it, and all the tracking you did. But first, why don't we want to give people a taste here? The first track we have lined up is Plus One. Is there anything you want to say about this tune before we give it a listen?
yeah, I do. If you don't mind,
No, no, I want
this
to hear
this
it.
one has a pretty good story behind it, I guess. I was teaching ceramics one day, and it was I had a studio date book that night at Ben's studio, and I was having a conversation with a student, and he said, "Hey, yo, Mr. Manders, are you gonna go up to heaven when you die?"
Wow,
Yeah,
that's quite a question to ask your teacher, but okay.
yeah. Well, I teach art, so
Yeah.
sometimes we get off topic and stuff like that, and I was just like, I didn't know what to say, but these kids are so sweet that anyway, I just said, I don't know, but if I don't, can I be your plus one? And his response was like when you go to the club. And so I just thought that was so funny.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
awesome.
and then I went home and took that idea and then I brought it into the studio. I had a little melody in my head, and I brought it in the studio, and Ben actually helped me kind of write it. We co-wrote it, and so in the studio, you're gonna listen to that's me and him after about 25 takes. We picked one take that we both liked and called it a song.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait for everybody to hear this one. It's one of my faves, and it's a great way to kick off our Friday listening party. This is
Yeah.
Jake Manders Plus One here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
Who you gonna take when the door of heaven swings open? What lucky name will you put up on that list? When the sky blue turns brown, the devil starts coming around. Can I be on that list as your plus one? Well, if the Lord shows up on your doorstep, will you be ready? Or will you take your time and pack a couple of bags? my brother works for God. Says I can be his plus one. Who you gonna take when the door of heaven swings open? Gives me that guest list in the air, I'm gonna fill her up with all of my friends. Who you gonna take when the door of heaven swings open? What lucky name will you put up on that list? If the sky blue turns brown, the devil starts coming around. Who you gonna take when the door of heaven swings open? Well, my brother works for God. Says I can be his plus one. Who you gonna take when the door of heaven swings open? Who you gonna take when the door of heaven swings open? Who you gonna take when the door of heaven swings open?
Oh, yeah. It's Jake Manders, Plus One, from his 2011 self-titled solo record. And man, that sounded so good. I agree with Connie out there who says great song. And Gary said sweet fiddle, and I was thinking the same thing, Gary. I want to know who's fiddling on that one.
Well, who do you think is the most well-known popular fiddle player in our great community?
I'd get in trouble if I picked one, Jake.
I'm gonna say it. I've been a huge fan of Ryan Young for a long time, and
yes, Trampled by Turtles.
I went up to him at a Trampled show, and I've known him, for a long time before that. But I just said, "Hey, Ryan, I could really use a fiddle on my album. What do you think?" And dude is so humble and so nice. Like, he just said, "Yeah, sure, I'll do it." And he's super busy, but he just was like, "Yeah, I'll come on in," and just ripped him up pretty quick. Yeah, so he's insanely talented fiddle player and super humble and nice guy. So.
Well, it was really, really cool hearing the way that he was kind of following the vocal lines and adding almost another vocal part to the song. And I want to also just touch on that a little bit, like duet style, right? You're doing the whole song together. Reminded me of like an old, like Louvin Brothers, or like one of those kind of old timey brother duet style. What made you approach the song like that?
Oh, I was kind of between Ben and I, really, because when we really wrote that song together, like on the spot in the studio. And he kind of was like, "Oh, I'll take the high harmony and you take the low harmony." And we just kind of wrote the lyrics together in the studio. It was just really a combo. I've never really written a song with somebody like that on the spot in such a quick time. But then once we had it down on paper, and we had to do it so many times, and we just took one that we liked. But I was fine with it after 5 takes. I was like, "We got it, let's go." But Ben, I think, is a little more of a perfectionist than I am when it comes to that stuff. And he had a sound in his mind that he wanted to go with, and so that song is really just me, him, and Brian on it. There's no bass or anything like that. And I should say, my brother does work for God. He is a pastor. So
I heard that.
Say that the lyrics are truthful and autobiographical in a way.
That's cool. And you said it was just you guys in the studio. Now, were you playing guitar at the same time you were singing, or did you separate those two parts of the recording?
Yeah, we both played guitar at the same time for that one, I think, and we were both singing. That was a live take for both of us.
Nice. There's
in the
something
mix.
about voices mingling like in the air, right? Where it's different than if you record them separately and try to layer them later.
Yeah, and honestly, I love Ben's voice. I love his style, and that was the first time we'd sing together too. So
Really?
it wasn't like we had any practice before that. He just was like, "Oh, I got the high harmony." We just kind of took care of it.
I'm so amazed at people who can do that. There really is a lot of like kind of facial movements that are really good cues. I've seen that. Like I
Hmm.
have some friends that are good at this, and they'll watch you, and they can almost like anticipate what you're going to say somehow, and
Yeah.
it's really that's really cool. Well, that's crazy that you guys had just met and or just sang for the first time because it really did sound like you'd been doing it for a long time, and that song just had this
Oh,
nice
thanks.
kind of old, like it could be like an old tune, like like I could, yeah, very, very, very cool. So, you mentioned you were kind of grew up with like alternative rock and grunge and things like that, but most of what I've seen you do is got this flavor, and same with the Party Penguins and things like that. So I'm real curious about how did this stuff get in your blood? These fiddles and
Oh yeah.
banjos and acoustic music. How did that happen?
Yeah, that's a good question, because when I first started playing guitar, it was electric and it was Metallica covers and um, you know, Pearl Jam and stuff, whatever like was popular when I was at that age group. But I have a very vivid memory when I was a child, and my aunts and uncles would come over and play country music in my kitchen when I was a kid. It's funny. Like I remember the table we would eat on would they would take the lid off the table, and it would be bumper pool table, and they would have these like all of a sudden like at night, everybody would be smoking cigarettes and playing guitar, and it'd be like
Honky
it
tonks
just
or
felt
something?
like our kitchen became this like I don't know, like a cool old bar. And before I was even old enough to know really what, I just was a kid observing it all and hearing my aunts and uncles play Patsy Cline and Hank Williams covers and stuff like that. I think that's really where it's just got my blood at a really young age. And so I always had a appreciation and love for the classic country.
Hmm.
But growing up, I just, I was very much into the grungy rock stuff. When I was at 14 and 13, the age when you're really starting to define yourself as
Oh yeah.
a music.
But it stuck with you though. The all that like that kind of seeped in
Yeah,
somewhere from your
honestly, I think
childhood.
when you introduced the Penguins and you're like, oh, it's kind of a blend of rock and bluegrass and this and that, and
Yeah.
I think that's because of the fact that you got all four of us in the band that really started the band together, brought our influences together, and some of them came from like Matt's big into Dead and the jam band scene and stuff like that,
Hmm.
and Chris was big into the blues, and um, so it's kind of fun to just to blend all that together, and then it just became the Penguins somehow, the folky stuff. Um, I think maybe bluegrass wasn't something I even knew what it was when I was at the age when I really started. I had no interest in it, and then I saw Trampled play for the first time, and I was like, wow, this is actually really cool. It's almost like bluegrass with an attitude or something. And
Yeah. Well,
I
maybe
don't know.
plucking a little bit of those rock strings that.
Yeah, I
That
did see some comparison. I was like, wow, it's like folk music with a little like a yeah heavy metal kind of influence or something like that. And so that's where I've always kind of took it. Um, and then over the years, these folk songs on this album, I just yeah, I don't think you can really hear that influence when you listen to it, but
Oh yeah, there's some songs in here where I actually was wondering about some of your influences, and it makes sense now, which is
okay.
really cool. I love that. I mean, that's how this music evolves, right? You bring your influences together. So,
Hmm.
well, why don't we dive into another track? Before we do, I just want to once again say if you have questions for Jake, if you have any comments, hop in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. And we're gonna take a listen to Absinthe. Um, Anything you want to say about this track before.
Sure, yeah. If I could say one more thing about Plus One.
Oh, yeah.
The Pistol Whip and Party Penguins, we did record a version of that, and it is on our latest album.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's called on the Ragged Old Road album. So if you want to listen to a different version, it's more of a bluegrassy style for those people interested. You can hear the Plus One on that. Absinthe, there's not a really great story behind it, except for the fact that I was bartending at the Target Center, and I was for the Timberwolves. Absinthe, you like it? Awesome, thank you. Well, I'll tell you why I chose to write it. After work, I went to my friend's house, and he just got back from Italy with a bottle of absinthe, and I didn't really know, like, there's probably proper ways to drink the stuff or whatever, like with ice, sugar cube or whatever.
It's pretty strong stuff.
Yeah, we just kind of like took a couple shots, like it was like a whiskey shot, but it wasn't. It was this absinthe. So I took a couple shots of this stuff, and all of a sudden I felt this euphoric feeling I've never felt really before. And I just grabbed his guitar and I wrote the song in literally 5 minutes. I just grabbed a pen and paper and wrote down these lyrics. And to this day, honestly, I don't entirely know where some of these lyrics came from. I just like put it on paper and it just kind of came together by itself. And
interesting. Well, this is an interesting beverage, like a lot of old poets and historical figures from like the 18th and 19th centuries and stuff were associated with this. And I wonder, like, some people think it has psychotropic properties, but it makes you wonder, maybe there's something there. You take one shot and you're writing the song. That's maybe lending a little credence to that theory.
Yeah, and then when you listen to it, you're gonna hear Ryan Young's fiddle. But Ben was so cool in the studio. He was like, Ryan, why don't you do like 8 layers of it or whatever, And so he just like layered himself doing fiddle over and over. So it sounds like an orchestra, in a way. I think it does, anyway. And so,
right on. All right, well, let's give it a listen. If you have any at home, now's the time to take that shot. Absinthe by Jake Manders here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
Another day unwinds. I wait. Moon looks bright, and I know not a clone. I'm alright. Life brings me what I need. Am I a seed of life? Are you wandering this through? Call a gardener tonight. Go mount your door in mine. Offer some confidence. Who knows the ways of life? It could be so comforting to hear the true sense of life in all the glory of being loyal and alone. But what do I know? Could this seed grow up when all I know around me knows I'm not a clone? But after all the pain, another heartbreak song I know, and you know, 'cause after all, we're all from the same
All right, Jake Manders, Absinthe here on the back catalog listening party, and I just saw Mother Banjo in the
Yay,
comments, so I
birthday
just wanted
girl!
to say happy birthday to Ellen. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and glad you could pop in for this special edition of the back catalog listening party with Jake Manders. We just listened to Absinthe off of his 2011 self-titled solo record, and I thought I heard some hints of like Dinosaur Jr. or Pixies or something in there. Is that the
Yeah.
kind of stuff you were listening to in high school?
I am an absolute enormous Dinosaur Jr. fan.
Okay, because the
big
harmony
fan.
lines there with the low and the high, I was like, that sounds like some Dinosaur Jr. there, and let's see here, Lynn actually was wondering about the harmony there. Can you tell us about the harmony singing on that?
Sure. I'm sure I was trying to avoid that question, but it's possible she's listening. I don't know. Uh, all right. So that's Alyssa Bicking. She used to play with the Floorbirds. Are you familiar
Oh
with them?
yeah, yeah, I remember that
So
band.
here's the story on that. Man, they were like huge on MySpace way back in the day,
I
right?
remember that.
And we played Penguins played a show with them, the Floorbirds. It was just her and Daniel at the time, it's a duo, Floorbirds. And I was like obsessed with that album they put out. It was so good, and her voice is just like so smooth. And so the fun part about recording your own album, for me, I was like, wow, I can just like kind of manifest what sounds I want to put on there
Yeah.
and think about and just like reach out to those musicians and see if they're interested. And 99% of the time, the musicians are totally down to record on your album, even if they don't really know who you are. They'll just come and play on it, because it's like it's kind of an honor to be asked to play on someone's recording.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how it was with Ryan, even though I knew Ryan for a while. But well, Alyssa, I hardly knew her. I didn't really know her at all. But I thought, man, if I could get her to come sing on my album, that'd be really cool. And then one day, I was at the 331 Club, and she happened to be sitting there at the bar, taking in the music. So I just went up to her and I said, Alyssa, you don't know me, but you know me a little bit because our bands play together once or twice. But I was like, would you be interested in singing on my album? And she was like, we'll see. But then I gave her a copy and she loved it, and she
Nice.
did. And then her and I became kind of a couple at that point. We kind
Oh,
of we kind of fell for each other, and then we kind of became a duo for a little bit, Jake and Alyssa. And then I don't know, for a couple of years actually, we're just playing as a duo right around the time I released this album, because she sang on just about every song on there.
Oh, wow.
But then things didn't work out for us, and so then we went our separate ways, and I haven't talked to her for a long time, so I hope she's doing well. And
Yeah,
we'll leave it at
well,
that.
you got it now. You have this permanent kind of record recording, of that
Yeah.
time, and I love it. And our friend Jude here is agreeing here. Total J Mazix vibe.
Oh, I know Jude. How you doing, Jude? Yes, Jay Mascis vibes. I've been told that a few times. My voice kind of has a raspy, whiny Jay Mascis thing, and I'll take that as a compliment. As a compliment for sure. Thank you.
But did when you like worked out those harmonies with her, was that talked about, or did she just gravitate towards that as well? Because that is it was kind of a really interesting kind of harmonic.
Oh, yeah.
Space between those.
I think when I gave her the demos, I had like I recorded some demos on there, my harmony on top of it. So I think she kind of had an idea what I wanted it to sound like.
Yeah.
But she took a lot of her own independence on recording it the way she thought was good. And yeah, and then she did a little ukulele on some tracks too. And yeah, that's looking back, that was my favorite part of the recording process, was just inviting friends to come in and say, hey, I could use a drummer. Hey, do you want to come up and lay it down? And it was kind of fun,
Yeah, you're kind of forever bonded with those people, right? From that moment, because
exactly, yeah.
That's so cool. Oh, and I totally hear what you were saying about Ryan's fiddle being. I would have thought that was. I was gonna, when I first listened to it, I assumed maybe there was a whole group of people, like a quartet at least, laying down those parts. But That sounded great. Well, I still want to get to this other question here from Connie, who wants to know about the cover art, which is something that I definitely wanted to ask you about as well.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm an art teacher, like I said, and I am also a practicing artist. Hey, I'm gonna do a little. I have this artwork that I'm super proud of. I just finished it, and
Hold on,
it's
let me
the
get you big here.
Dusty's collage. It's quite big.
Oh, that's gorgeous. It's Dusty's Bar, right? Northeast.
Dusty's bar. I'm sorry for the crappy quality of the photo, ladies and gentlemen, but you get the idea. So.
We'll find a version of it and put it in the show notes for those of you who are.
Yeah, I'm just getting
That's
prints
awesome.
of it, man. And it's just been sitting here. I just look at it. Yeah, so the cover art is based on a drawing I did when I was living in California. I went to college in Humboldt State for a year.
Okay.
And I was in a national exchange program, so it was like I was taking art classes in Humboldt. And Humboldt, if you don't know or not familiar with it, it's kind of known. It's where I like to tell people it's where they filmed Return of the Jedi with the Ewoks.
So beautiful.
It's freaking gorgeous. So the redwood trees and the mountains, and it's right close to the ocean. But I think they maybe modeled the Ewoks after the type of people that live out there, you know. I was a little shocked when I got out there. It was like
lots of beards and stuff.
Oh man, yeah, just shaggy people, and I didn't really I didn't have a beard back then. This is new. I mean, not new now, but you know, back then it was. And so I did a drawing from a festival, and in the drawing there was a gap in that spot, and so then I photoshopped a picture of me playing at a coffee house in Santa Cruz.
Okay, so that's you, and that's and the rest are people at a festival.
Exactly, yeah, from a drawing I did in Humboldt, and
that's
then I just
super cool.
My brother is an art teacher as well, so he helped me with Photoshop part.
The pastor or another brother?
No, I've got two brothers. One's an art teacher and one's a pastor.
All right. Now, one of the cool things is that I've noticed from all your artwork is you're not just, you know, strictly watercolors or strictly chalk, or where you have like your own kind of multimedia approach. Can you talk a little bit about that with your artwork?
Yeah, thank you so much. So it all starts with the image. You know, you got to find an image that is of importance and meaningful for, and then from there, I use a grid technique to draw it out. There's I'll give my secret away. It's called griddrawingtool.com is a website, and I upload a picture on it, puts a grid on it, and then I draw a grid on a piece of cardboard or whatever piece of masonite I can find, and then I just draw from box to box grid.
All right.
And then once I have it drawn out, then I tell myself, well, it's not finished until all the cardboard is covered up. And so whether that's paper collage, cardboard, or junk, really, I've been really into doing mixed media kind of junk collages too, and using everyday objects or junk I find on the street, or
I love that.
Toys or
yeah, you know, or before, I don't know if you can tilt your camera like you did for me, but you showed me all these bins and stuff in your room. Is that just the stuff you're using, whatever you find?
Yeah, all those are scraps of cardboard in this space. I've got another storage in my basement where I have a lot of plastic and metal stuff. Because I kind of model my studio here that I have in my classroom.
Oh, nice.
So it's kind of like a similar workshop. It's a disaster, but yeah, I'll show you what I'm talking about.
I love it. No, see, that pushes all my buttons, man.
Lots
Look at all
of plastic bins.
Bins full of cool. That's so amazing.
It's a lot to look at, a lot to take in, but I spend all my free time in here and just
living and breathing the art. And this is a good time, a really good time to let people know that you can own the artwork that's on this album that we're listening to today. Here, I'll make myself big so people can see this in all its glory here. This is the LP version, and it looks like the picture actually continues on the back. And I was talking with Jake about how one could get their hands on this, and he said that he'd be happy to mail you a copy of the album. He would be happy to sign it for you, I'm sure, by just sending him $10 for a CD or $20 for this amazing vinyl to his Venmo at Jake Manders, and just you can just add your address to the notes field at Venmo, and you'll get a copy of the album, and I'm sure maybe he'd write you a little personal note too, right, Jake?
Oh yeah, I would be honored if you like what you hear and you want to take a piece of art with you, for sure, absolutely. I'll mail you that and probably stuff some art in there with it. I don't know. I got maybe a couple of Penguin CDs in there. You never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, well, see, all right, it's a grab bag. It's a mystery box from Jake. I would love that. Here, let me. I'm gonna get that into the comments so y'all can copy and paste that for later. But yeah, I highly recommend it. It sounds really, really good. I don't know what kind of studio Ben runs. Is it out of his house, or is it like a studio space that he rents? But it sounds fantastic.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. So 2011. I don't know, man. He did it out of the basement of his house.
All right.
In a homemade studio, but it was top quality, and the guy's great to work with. So if you're a musician looking for someone, Ben Kyle, look him up.
Right on. And he's here is he still in Minnesota?
Yeah, I believe so. It's
All right.
been a while since I've talked to him, but yeah, I think he still resides around.
Right on. All right. Well, with all that said, it's time to get into another track, and the next one we have lined up is Roundabouts. Anything you want to say about this one before we listen, or you want to talk about it after?
Anthony, so the songs I chose off this album are songs that when I go out and play live, these are songs I still put in my like repertoire or whatever. And
Yeah.
A lot of times I like to start off my set with this one, just because for whatever reason it just feels like a good opener, and it's still relevant. Where sometimes songs kind of die off over time, and I just feel like it's just gonna end up in the but this one took on a life of its own, and it's feels like it's still there. So that's why and also I know you're a banjo guy, so
Yeah.
this is the only song on the album where I try a little banjo on there.
All right.
Don't judge me too much, Anthony. I'm not.
No way. I love it. The more banjos, the better here, especially on this show. I don't know if you're still out there, Ellen, but seal of approval here. Yeah, that's awesome. And you're playing the banjo.
Yeah, I try.
Right on. Well, let's give it a listen. This is Jake Manders, Roundabouts, here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
Roundabout out downtown, Taco Tuesdays 2 for 1, and this song was born today, 'cause I'm in the mood I've been in, to face the night and to face the right side of love. When I'm gone, soon you'll face it all again. Roundabout out downtown again, with a couple of friends. I'm coffee black, you're warm light lit up. Somehow I'm not so cold anymore, and I know faces grow out, and I know this song is fading out of your head. Just remember all the right sides of love. When I'm gone, soon you'll face it all again. Face it all again. when I'm out walking on those streets when bottles break, preventing another leak, and I choke on small rubber bands of truth in white summer sand. And I know the faces grow out, and I know this song is fading out of your head. Just remember all the right sides of love when I'm gone. You'll face it all again. And I know the faces grow out, and I know there's a song that's fading out of your head. Just remember all the right sides of love when I'm gone. You'll face it all again. Face it all again. Face it all again. Face it all again. Face it all again.
Oh yeah, it's Jake Manders Roundabouts here on the Back Catalog Listening Party. If you're just tuning in, we're listening to his 2011 self-titled album, and that's another great sound. And I got to tell you, that banjo was just right. That's just what I want. That's just what I want from a banjo in a song like that. It's too hard. It's too easy, I should say, to overplay. Like banjo can be, there's a lot of banjo jokes for a reason. It can be a very obnoxious instrument, but it also can be this wonderful texture, rhythmic texture. And I thought you did a great job kind of laying down that banjo texture for that one, man.
Oh man,
nice job.
Thank you. I don't consider myself a banjo player at all. I can only play a couple of songs really. But man, that's one instrument that I am just floored by anybody that can really do it well. And so, it does add a wonderful layer.
Does. I really think of it often as a percussion instrument, right? It for me, it added this nice kind of eighth note rhythm. Mm-hmm. That kind of kept everything going, and is a nice foil to those long sweeping, fiddle parts and things like that. But I did want to say, I was looking at the back. See, if you buy the album, you get to see album credits, which is my favorite thing. And I see that you do also do a little ukulele and harmonica. Did you start on a particular instrument? I mean, are you just kind of agnostic when it comes to stuff? Where did you come from an instrument perspective in your music?
Yeah, I would say I started writing actually a lot of those songs at Roundabouts. I think I wrote that thing in high school.
Oh, really?
When I was really in my teens, a lot of songs on that album I wrote in high school actually, and I just finally put them to when I went to college. I was trying to play those songs out in coffee houses and stuff, and so the thing is, I always consider myself a decent guitar player. I never really understood how to play the lead or had any really interest in learning that, even though I grew up listening to louder, heavier music. But yeah, I never consider that where my, I guess, talents were. So I needed to fill the gap somehow. And a buddy of mine in college bought me one of those headsets for harmonicas.
Oh yeah.
And I bought a harmonica and I started playing that. And if anything, that would be the most natural. Can you even call harmonica an instrument? Sure. I mean,
yes, you can.
That's my most
yes, you can. Yes.
Natural instrument for me was harmonica. It just felt like I just kind of understood what to do with it, when playing guitar, filling in the gaps and just playing along with the melody.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always had, a big love for Neil Young and Dylan, of course, and stuff like that. So trying to it just it helps to fill in the gaps for me, and so I'm not just up there playing a guitar. And so now I consider myself, I play way maybe too much harmonica. I don't know.
No.
If you go to a live show of mine, you might see me up there, and I'll be wailing on the harmonica for a while. And
That's awesome. No, I think it's such a great compliment, especially you do a lot of like what you're talking about, shows where there might be just you or
yeah,
maybe one
solo
other
shows.
person. Like it really does fill out the sound and adds a melodic piece over the top of the guitar.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just love finding the melody, and just playing along with the melody of a song with the harmonica. It just adds a cool layer,
Yeah.
like you said. And now I'm playing a lot with the Penguins. I've been playing a lot more harmonica now with them than I ever did before. Even though everybody wants to
Nice.
take their solo break, that's the problem we're having. So,
Now you're
everybody's got to go
competing.
around the circle and play their solo break, and
I would love to see the Party Penguins with a harmonica break. I love like acoustic music, roots music, string band music with harmonica. Are you familiar with Art Stevenson and Highwater out of Wisconsin?
No.
One of my favorite traditional bluegrass bands in the whole wide world. Past guest here on the Back Catalog Show, and man, he's an amazing songwriter and singer and guitar player, but he'll set his guitar down and just go to town on the harmonica,
Nice.
and it fits. It really does, and a lot of that early string band music really had that component in there. So there's a precedent. I'm just gonna say that. So.
Sweet. Thank you. I'll look him up. I
Yeah,
like
Art
that.
Stevenson and Highwater are one of my favorites. I know the Horseshoes and Hand Grenades guys; they have a
Oh,
harmonica
yeah.
too, and so I'd like to think that that we're going to see more and more string bands
Mhm.
with harp players. I'd like that anyways.
I'd like to give out to a shout to the band Feeding Leroy. They've
Oh,
got it. They've got it so good. Lee. They're twin brothers up there, but Lee plays the pedal steel and writes a lot of songs. But Lucas is a really phenomenal harmonica guy, and he just fills in the blanks real so he's been a great inspiration for me.
that's awesome. Feeding the Bear, awesome band. I caught them last year at the Blue Ox Festival, and
Oh
I think
yeah,
I saw that the Party Penguins are going to be there this year. Is that right?
we'll be there. Yeah,
That's
first
right.
band to kick
So,
it off, I think, actually on a Thursday.
oh, fantastic. So if any of you folks are into acoustic music, if you're in the upper Midwest, Blue Ox Music Festival taking place, I believe, it's like June 17th, 18th, no, 24th, somewhere in June. We'll put a link in the show notes, but it's probably one of the best music festivals anywhere, really. And the Pistol Whip and Party Penguins are going to be there, so you want to be there. I did mean to put a link here to the Penguins because they I think folks would really enjoy that side of your music as well. So I threw that in the comments. You can check that out after the show. But I want to make sure we have a couple more tracks here, and I want to make sure we get at least to one more here. So I'm going to quit yipping and ask you about this track, "Can't Say Goodbye." Anything you want to say about this?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't want to end on a downer note, but here we are. What time we got? Yeah, we got 10 minutes. All right. So, like I said, I wrote this one in high school, kind of like roundabouts, after a friend had taken his own life. And, that was a long time ago. I'm in my 40s now. So, just be thinking about this friend that took his life in high school. And I just didn't know I didn't really know how to deal with it. So I put my thoughts and emotions into this song. And then I just kept it with me, and I never play this one out anymore. But man, thinking over the years how there's been just more and more and more people that I love and know that have kind of taken their own life like this, and it's just, man, it's just hard. And so I guess that's what the lyrics are about. And then as far as the recording goes, for whatever reason, I don't know why I didn't ask Ryan to play on this one. I think I had a very good fiddle friend who plays. He was a friend of Mankato, and we would play together sometimes. But then he moved out to Santa Cruz, and he's still playing today with a band called Marty O'Reilly Orchestra. And him and his partner at the time were playing in a band together. She plays cello, so I asked him to record it on it. So him and Alexis she plays cello on it, and so they're doing the background for that one. And then Alyssa's playing some ukulele and singing some background harmony, and it's kind of a sadder song on the album, but I haven't heard it in a long time. So why don't you play it? We'll
Well,
just bring back the memories.
for someone who has also experienced that kind of loss, I think this music is a very therapeutic way to deal with that. So this goes out to everyone who's going through this. This is Jake Manders, Can't Say Goodbye, here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
Write a song, words I can't sing about to you. It doesn't matter anyway, words mean nothing in a sense when all is real. All is real, so I sing along about nothing, just write it off as a poem I'll send to you later. Maybe we'll send some copies away for those we might see again. But for now and at this, oh, what is this? This peaceful song, send a lullaby out for one. For today, another time spent, gone away so soon. It was yesterday, I'll be forgotten. It's a dream that you will be in again. It's in a lake, flying by pelicans. Sing this song, all words I can't sing about. I will try, I could try, I could try. But for now and at this, but what is this? This peaceful song, send a lullaby out for one. Can't say goodbye. Can't say goodbye. Say goodbye. Nothing makes sense in the song. I read it through to find a comment meaningful too. But what makes sense when all I said was real? But when nothing seems real, is it real? Nothing seems real. But for now and at this, but what is this? This peaceful song, send a lullaby out for one. But for now and at this, but what is this peaceful song? Send a lullaby out for one. Can't say goodbye.
Jake Manders, Can't Say Goodbye, here on the Back Catalog Listening Party. And yeah, really nice tribute to your friend. And yeah,
Thank you.
that suicide is one of those things that it's almost hard to say the word, you know?
Yeah.
And having songs like this out in the world, I think, are really important for all of us who are left to process these things. And some other folks agree here. Jude says, gorgeous, needs radio play.
Thanks, Jude.
Agreed. And Chris said nice. And yeah.
I haven't thought about that song in a long time, to be honest with you. I don't play it anymore. And so when you asked, I looked at the album and I thought, you know, these are the songs that probably had the most impact in my life or whatever.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you sharing that one with us today, because again, it's just unfortunately one of those things that comes up time and time again, and we're often left with few tools to kind of deal with it. But I find that art and music are one of those ways that help the most. So
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm so
Sure.
glad. Well, we're getting to the end of the hour here, but we did have one more song. Would you have time to squeeze that last one in?
If I could just talk about it, I'd prefer.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about that last song. I put that
Yeah.
on there because I just thought it was interesting. That was one of the first songs I ever came up with. Again, I wrote it in high school, but this one probably when I was like 14. I wrote the lyrics for it, and really young, and I recorded it and everything, and it was what it is. And so the recording that you were about to play, Anthony, I would rather maybe not play because
Sure.
because what happened was about 5 or 6 years ago, Matt Novotny, the most lead singer in the Penguins,
Mm-hmm.
he went ahead and he's like, "Hey, I hope you don't mind, but I rewrote that song that you wrote, Time, on your first album, and so he basically made it way better. And so then we recorded it with the Penguins, and now this version is kind of like, I wouldn't say dead to me, but I haven't really played it this way
All right.
for a long time. So I kind of want to leave it in the dust. And the Penguins version is the new version. If you want to hear it, it's on the what album is that one on? Oh, we have a lot of Penguins albums, but if you go to Pistol Party Penguins and just type in Time on Spotify, you'll find it. That's the new version. That's when I go out play it live, that's the way I'm going to play it. And
yeah, like sometimes that happens. Like it's not quite finished until it's finished, and
yeah, exactly.
Even
and
after recording that, that's cool. I appreciate hearing that. That's cool. But I bet you people now are going to be extra interested to hear this now, right? So what a great teaser. You're a master marketer, Jake. So once again, if you want to own a copy of this great album, just go to Venmo, where Jake is just at Jake-Manders. And if you slide him $10, he'll send you a CD. Slide him 20, he'll send you a vinyl record. Slide him 100. Who knows what might come your way?
Exactly. You never know. I've got a lot of art in here, and yeah, seriously. But also, I'm an art teacher, so I'm doing okay, ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry about me. I don't need your. I mean, I appreciate the tips and I appreciate all that. I just want you to know that I'm not a struggling artist like there are so many out there that,
Well, we appreciate the work that you do. I want to say a huge thank you on behalf of Ellen, who couldn't be here. One more time, happy birthday to Ellen.
Happy birthday,
if
Ellen.
you're out there, I hope you're having a wonderful birthday. And Jake, thank you so much for spending this hour with us, or with me. I guess it went by super fast. I was looking forward to this conversation, and hope we get another chance to do it. Maybe over a beer at Dusty's or something sometime.
Yeah, I'd love that for sure.
And I also want to thank all of you out there for joining us. I mean, that's what this show is all about. Just having you all here. Gary, thank you so much for showing up. We really, really appreciate it. Connie says, thanks for a wonderful show. Well, it wouldn't be this if it weren't for you. I mean, this really is about community, and we appreciate all of you out there for chiming in each week. Joni, appreciate the teachers. Agreed. We couldn't do it without you, and we want to give I want to give a special shout out to our Patreon community, who decided that even though the world was opening up again, that they still wanted the Back Catalog Listening Party to happen every Friday. So we thank you so much. Penny, Ann, Alinda, Bevan, Connie, Vaughn, Alan, Chris, Alex, Becky, Galen, Peggy, Joe, Jim, Beverly, and John, Fred, Tim, Sarah, David, Jocelyn, Court, Matt, Steve, Mark, the Homestead Pick and Parlor, Severin, hope you're feeling better, Lynn, Craig, Jake, Mary, and many tracks. Thank you so much to all of you for continuing to support the show, but most importantly, independent music and musicians like Jake. We really couldn't do it without you. We appreciate it so much. So if you're interested in joining the Back Catalog Listening Party Patreon, it's just patreon.com/Back Catalog Listening Party. We do have some special after parties for our patrons and special concerts and other kinds of things like that. And we'd love to have you, but most importantly, we'd love to have you here each week. So if you're new to the show, maybe give this episode a thumbs up so more bots are directed to Jake over here. And it also goes a long way to tell the algorithms that people are appreciating this content. So once again, we appreciate you for being here. And we appreciate, Jake, you for being here. I'm like looking at, I don't know where I'm looking. Does this look like I'm looking at you now? If I look that direction. But anyways, yep. Jake, this was so much fun.
Thanks, Tony.
And
look the wrong way. There we go. Thanks, Tony.
right. One of these days, I'm going to work out something, where I pass a glass over and the guest is going to all kinds of hijinks. Jude says, great interview. Made my last hour working corporate America bearable. All right.
Woo!
All right.
Thanks, dude.
Jake, we did our job. High five.
All right.
No. Yeah, there you go. All right, folks. Have a good rest of your Friday. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you next week. We got Claudia Schmidt rescheduled for next Friday. We can't wait to chat with her, and we can't wait to see you again on the Back Catalog Listening Party. Cheers to you.